Pogi. I would bring my students, University of the Philippines students, in all my courses. I would like them to realize the value of the University of the Philippines, especially here, that this is the Katipunan Tat. That is why it's called Katipunan. Because they certainly, hindi to fake news. This is true. They pass here because on the way to Rodriguez Rizal used to be Mount Calvan and used to be San Mateo and now called Rodriguez Rizal. According to the document that I read, Julio Nakpil, the father of the Nakpil, the architect Nakpil who made that central administration, Julio Nakpil, the revolutionary composer who married the widow of Andres Bonifacio, they passed the, I don't know if you're familiar, there's what called you would know, yung balara. May balara dyan. Yan sila nagkaan. Kaya, yan ang pilihan. Halika. Kaya nga po, may today begin the realization for every compatriot at higit sa lahat mga estudyante mag-aaral that this is a sacred university, sacred prophetic, and with now people, the heaven sent, the pillars of the sacred prophetic foundations. May today, July 7, 2022, begin the realization that everyone who passes by UP Diliman, whatever undertaking, whatever activity, whatever initiative, should be according to the sacred prophetic foundation of this People's University. Now I would like to say, the University of Saints and Heroes. Saint Teresa of the Child Jesus said, every Filipino is called to be a saint and hero and saint. That is why Saint Teresa of the Child Jesus, for her the translation of my 2002 USA, Mexico, Europe, pilgrimage for Pilipinas, Dambana ng Bayan, she told me the translation should be the Philippines as the pilgrimage, covenant country of saints and heroes. So every nation of the world will come here. And we, every Filipino, should accept that sacred prophetic responsibility, to own that responsibility, that if we undergo the process of purification, enlightenment, and covenant, then we're able to do our sacred prophetic destiny to take care. Mind you, if we don't do our part, the entire world is doomed. You just have to believe in that. But because you are home with that earth, you are all here, now you start the process of purification. Through kabanalan, kabayanihan, kalikasan, or holiness, heroism, honoring creation. Alam po ninyo, ako, talaga nananaginip. Minsan ay patulugin. Pero ang maganda naman po, talaga pong may value yung mga panaginip. Sa totoo lang, kung hindi naman ako nanaginip, nung katipunan na yan, napaginipan ko nga yung mga katipuneros, kailangan namang ma-celebrate sila yung kanilang covenant. Kaya yan ang mga makikita ninyo, Ate Zenaida, P, lektura, yan ang nakalagay sa ating gagawing pilot para pupuntahan kayo dito. Kaya ngayon, wala na magsasabing isasara ang UP. UP will never be closed because the University of the Philippines has a sacred prophetic destiny to be the pilot model for education, governance, development, and diplomacy. And this is the icon. You know, when I was in USA, take note, every nation has an icon. They are known for that. In America, the Statue of Liberty. France, Eiffel Tower. China, Great Wall. Tayo ito. This is the Philippine spiritual infrastructure. And this will define the national agenda of BBM SONA administration. Ito na po tayo doon sa main. Because the spiritual sculptor, Professor Emeritus and former Dean of the University of the Philippines, Diliman, Quezon City College of Fine Arts, Nestor Olarte Binduan. Destiny brought us together while we were having a ceremony, before the ceremony there, in front of the Andres Bonifacio Camillo. And according to our spiritual sculptor, Nestor Olarte Binduan, he would get feedback from people who come here and meditate. And when they stand here, they feel a certain energy. And you know, at 6 p.m., if you happen to be here, I don't know if they still do that. This is like that. It's so mystical. And let me tell you also that during the groundbreaking, we were all here with President Pascual and others, sectors. We put here objects from my pilgrimages, Middle East, Europe, Mexico. So here at where we stand, on solid foundation, we would like to realize the Philippine Sacred Prophetic Relations. Philippine Sacred Prophetic Relations with nations of the world. And let me tell you this. But with my UP students, on the death anniversary of the Lakambini ng Katipunan ni Romualdez, I was able to put the soil from the grave of Romualdez because I knew then the mother, Mercedes. And when we visited the grave of Romualdez, I requested permission to get soil because, you know, I had a dream of Romualdez. I had a dream that she was very dirty and would not even want me to face her. Because she was then in search for the remains of her husband, Supremo Andres Bonifacio, who was a slave in Manila. And that is why at this point I would also like to thank the Governor John B. Premulia, who was my student in the University of the Philippines, because he was able to do something in Maragondo. I believe somehow to make amends for what happened in this country. And so as I said, during that one sacred prophetic day with my UP students, when I put, it was not like that then, no cement, just the tree. They removed the tree. But in that tree, before my students, I said, here I put the soul from the grave of Romualdez. So you now can be one in this Andres Bonifacio. You know, what we're being asked to do is really to be an instrument of grace, divine intervention, and divine providence, so that every Filipino can fulfill the prophetic destiny to take care of the world. If we can go beyond personal hearts, personal considerations, no leader will succeed, no citizen will succeed, no community will succeed, no barangay will succeed, if we are not able to realize the Philippine sacred prophetic destiny to take care of the world. If only its decision, its action, each step, we consider and reconsider that as a Filipino, I'm not an ordinary citizen of this world, but I'm a citizen of heaven. And so, we are not just called to be here in this world because there is a communion of saints and heroes. And we are called to be a citizen of this world and in the other world. And how can we bring the other citizens of this world if the Filipino cannot fulfill its sacred prophetic destiny to lead nations of the world in realizing that each citizen is called to be a saint and hero, a hero. Executive, the Congress, and the judiciary. So we now consecrate the BBM Sara administration, the people's consecration. So our best wishes for the Philippine Executive, Congress, and the judiciary. As these dogs are released all at the same time, may our prayers and wishes go beyond the seas, the mountains, and the heavens. So this will now be experienced by the Philippines and the world. And now, we pray. Our Lady of Mount Carmel, the prophetic Lady of Mount Carmel. I think, anak, I want the Philippine Dao Digong Temple to receive your uniform here. Sabi ka sa akin. The so-called graces of the Interfaith Philippine Dao Digong Temple. May the graces overflow when we make the pilgrimage of the Katipunan Eternal Flame to the various government agencies this July 2022 in preparation for the State of the Nation address of the 17th Sacred Prophetic President of the Philippine Republic for the world, Ferdinand Romualdez Marcos Jr. And now release. Lupang tinubos damo di makapantayan, ilaw ng sanib. Pilipinas, tulad mo'y gintong yaman, sampagita, dulot mo'y bango at kagandahan. Kwintas kang binuo ng kapatiran, dulot ka sa amin ng poong may kapal. O ina, kay gandang pagmasdan, mga anak mo, nagkaisa't nagmamahal. Anong tuwa't saya ng iyong kalooban, sapagkat narito na ang dambana ng bayan, sapagkat narito na ang dambana ng bayan, sapagkat narito na ang dambana ng bayan. Ang biyaya at grasya ng UP Covenant Monument o dambana ng bayan sa Universidad ng Pilipinas sa Diliman, Quezon City. This construction, this UP Covenant Monument o dambana ng bayan was constructed as the legacy of the University of the Philippines System President Alfredo Pascual, now the Department of Trade and Industry, and the Rizal Blumentritt Pamahalaan Academy President Attorney Rafael Abelino Morales. And let me tell you that we did a video reading the Memorandum of Understanding between UP System President Alfredo Pascual and Attorney Rafael A. Morales. It was read, no less, by our Philippine Daodigong Temple Grandmaster Thomas Gayan, and the posture on the Panata sa Kalayaan na may puyat kabanalan.
Ang Sheikh Zayed Grand Mosque ay isang pagpupugay sa kadakilaan ng sibilisasyong Arabiko na tumatanggap at yumayakap sa karagatan ng sambayanan para sa pagdama sa paraiso. Ang Grand Mosque ng Ama ng United Arab Emirates ay nagbibigay larawan sa lawak at kalaliman ng sibilisasyong Pilipino na pinag-aralan at ugat ng propesiya ni Dr. Jose Rizal, pambansang bayani ng Pilipinas, at Dr. Ferdinand Blumentritt, ang makabayan at matalik na kaibigan ni Dr. Jose Rizal mula sa Czech Republic. Ang Abu Dhabi Emirate Chapter ng Knights and Ladies of Rizal ay nag-alay ng panalangin sa Sheikh Zayed Grand Mosque upang maisakatuparan ang pagbabalik ng gintong kabiasnan o Golden Civilization ng mga Pilipino na ugat o pundasyon ng propesiya ni Dr. Jose Rizal kasama ang kaibigang Dr. Ferdinand. Ang propesiya sa katapusang bahagi ng El Filibusterismo na nobela ni Dr. Jose Rizal ay nagtatanghal sa ginampanan ni Padre Florentino na pagtatalaga sa pusod ng karagatan sa kayamanan na nabatikan ng pagkagahaman, kabuktutan at pang-api. Ang pusod ng karagatan ay sumasalamin sa paglilinis at pagliligtas upang maging karapat-dapat ang kayamanan sa pagtupad sa kalooban ng Diyos. Ang pusod ng karagatan ay sumasalamin sa makapangyarihan, mahiwaga at mistikal na alon-dagat ng sibilisasyong Pilipino na maririnig sa bawat tahanan, simbahan, pamayanan at bayan. Ang makapangyarihan, mahiwaga at mistikal na alon-dagat ng sibilisasyong Pilipino ay nagsisilbing pundasyon sa pagbuo ng Covenant Monument o Tipan Monumento ng Universidad ng Pilipinas sa pagbabago tungo sa kapayapaan, pagkakaisa at kaunlaran. Ang makapangyarihan, mahiwaga at mistikal na alon-dagat ng sibilisasyong Pilipino ay nagbibigay buhay sa bawat kataga at teksto ng panulat tipan sa pamatalaan ni Rizal at ng Katipunan para sa bawat Pilipino na maging isang banal na bayani. Ang simulain at adhikain ng Rizal Blumentritt Pamatalaan Academy na nabuo upang maibalik ang banal na pundasyon ng sibilisasyong Pilipino. Ang makapangyarihan, mahiwaga at mistikal na alon-dagat ng sibilisasyong Pilipino ay gumaganap sa matagumpay na pilgrimahe o pamamathala upang maisakatuparan ang panawagan ng Rizal Blumentritt Pamatalaan Academy para sa banal na halalan na magiging tanda o tatak sa pagtatagumpay ng propesiya ni Rizal at ng mahal na Birhen ng Fatima. Inako at pinagkaisahang tanggapin ng Abu Dhabi Knights and Ladies of Rizal ang tungkulin na makatupad sa kalooban ng Diyos upang maitanghal ang maningning na pundasyong banal na kabiasnan ng Pilipinas or Sacred Civilization of the Philippines. Ang patotoo ng Abu Dhabi sa propesiya ng mahal na Birhen ng Fatima. Ninais ng mahal na Birhen ng Rizal Blumentritt Pamatalaan Academy na mula sa Embahada ng Pilipinas sa Vatikano ay makapiling ang kanyang mga anak sa Abu Dhabi upang doon na ipagdiwang ang Oktubre 13, 2014, kapistahan ng mahal na Birhen ng Fatima sa pamumuno ni Philippine Ambassador Grace Princesa. Tinanggap ng mga pinuno ng Abu Dhabi Bayanihan Council ang pangako ng mahal na Birhen na sa pamamagitan ng kanyang patnubay, ang Pilipinas ang mangangalaga sa pagbabago at pagbubuo ng bawat bansa upang ang kaharian ng Diyos ang itanghal sa buong mundo. Ang patotoo ng Universidad ng Pilipinas. Ang puting kalapati na nagmula sa mga kamay ng Pangulo ng Universidad ng Pilipinas, Alfredo E. Pascual, ang naging hudyat sa pagtatagumpay ng propesiya ni Rizal at ng mahal na biren ng Fatima. Ang puting kalapati na pumagitna sa dalawang bundok ng Montalban o Rodriguez Rizal, ang patotoo na ang Pilipinas ang mamamagitan upang hindi matuloy ang pagtutunggali ng mga sibilisasyon o class of civilizations. Ang pagbuo ng Covenant Monument o Tipan Monumento sa Universidad ng Pilipinas para sa pambansa at pandaigdigang pagbabago at pagbubuo, ang panawagan ng Rizal Elementary Pamahalaan Academy sa pamumuno ni Attorney Rafael A. Morales. Ang panawagan na ito ay tatanghal sa Oktubre 16, 2015 sa Abu Dhabi, United Arab Emirates bilang pagkilala at pagpapahalaga sa pag-aaruga ng mga Abu Dhabi Knights and Ladies of Rizal sa pagtatagumpay ng propesiya ni Rizal at ng propesiya ng mahal na biren ng Fatima. Bayan ko, lupang tinubuan, perlas ka ng silangan, ganda mo'y di mapapantayan, ilaw ka ng sanlibutan. Pilipinas, tulad mo'y gintong yaman, sampagitan, dulot mo'y bango at kagandahan. Kwintas kang binuo ng kapatiran, dulot ka sa amin ng poong may kapal. O ina, kay gandang pagmasdan, mga anak mo'y nagkaisa't nagmamahalan. Anong tuwa't saya ng iyong kalooban, sapagkat narito na ang dambana ng bayan, sapagkat narito na ang dambana ng bayan.
I would like to begin with a prayer, if I still remember it, please. This is the prayer that was requested from me to compose when I was a member of the Multi-Sectoral Anti-Corruption Council of the Office of the Ombudsman. Then, afterwards, I asked their permission to give it, to endorse it to the Department of Environment and Natural Resources. And this prayer is always used every Friday during the Holy Mass and during the Holy Mass of the Charismatic Community in the Department of Environment and Natural Resources. And this prayer is really panata ni Rizal at ng Katipunan sa puri at kabanalan ng lahing Pilipino. O mahabagin at pagpagpalang Diyos, sa mga sandaling ito, iniaalay namin ang aming mga sarili bilang mga pinuno at mamamayan ng bayan. Patnubayan po ninyo ang bawat hakbang namin, hakbang sa landasin ng mga banal na bayani. Pagkalooban po ninyo kami ng sapat na lakas na maisakatuparan, panata namin at ng sanlipunan sa puri at kabanalan ng lahing Pilipino. Ipagkaloob po ninyo na maisakatuparan namin o minumutyang Pilipinas upang maging isang dambana ng bayan, banal na bayan, na ang mga namumuno ay namamathala dahil namamahala ayon sa inyong kalooban at ang mga mamamayan ay isinasabuhay ang inyong kalooban, ang inyong mga nais. Now let me tell you that this prayer was also adopted by the National Commission for Culture and the Arts in one event at Luneta, and there is also an English translation. But the most important thing is, the prayer properly belongs to the Department of Environment and Natural Resources, because for me personally, when I was going abroad and in all my international audiences, I keep saying that the Philippines will lead nations of the world in recovering the moral sacred foundations of nationhood, because the Philippines has a prophetic destiny to take care of the world. And so no less than the Department of Environment and Natural Resources, that in truth takes care of the heavens, the seas, and all the highways and byways, because when you have a very able, a spiritually and motivated, guided Department of Environment and Natural Resources, the entire Philippines will be well taken care of. And for this, we offer it. Today, we offer this July 15, 2022, brief ceremony for the July 25, 2022 State of the Nation Address of the 17th Sacred Prophetic President of the Philippine Republic for the world, Ferdinand Romualdez Marcos Jr. And not only that, we here in the Department of Environment and Natural Resources, the one that takes care of the national artist Napoleon Villabueva, Katipunan Eternal Flame, I requested the funding of this from the Department of Tourism to commemorate the 1997 martyrdom of Supremo Andres Bonifacio, the first Secretary of the Department of the Interior and Local Government. So, here we begin this ceremony because this is the first time that I am doing in the Philippines a preparatory event for the State of the Nation address of the President. Normally, I am abroad. Providentially, I am here in the Philippines. And no less, because it is destiny that today, led by the Department of Environment and Natural Resources, we begin the pilgrimage of the Katipunan Eternal Flame, which stayed in the Katipunan Covenant Cave of Rodriguez Rizal, because it marks the April 1895 Holy Week Pilgrimage Covenant of Andres Bonifacio and 8 other Katipuneros in going to the Covenant Cave. So this time, as it makes a pilgrimage, we celebrate this Katipunan Eternal Flame for kabanalan, kabayanihan, kaligtasan or holiness, heroism, honoring creation, and above all, let me tell you that this is a sign, a radiant sign from heaven, that all my prophetic dreams are being fulfilled. Because if I did not dream of this April 1895 Holy Week Pilgrimage Covenant of Katipunan in Montalban, Rizal, there will be no centennial of the Katipunan Covenant Cave. So, Katipunan Covenant Cave for Sacred Prophetic Philippines, led by the new Secretary Tony Yulo Loizaga, supported by Assistant Secretary Hiro B. Masuda, with Division Chief Raymond R. Virgino, and Division Chief Adona Princesa San Diego. So, may I please request our dear Adona here, she will go to the track where there is the marker prepared by the spiritual sculptor Nestor Olarte Binluan, who was commissioned by then Secretary Ramon J.P. Pahe. Because before last July 7, we were here on February 23, 2022, upon the inspiration of St. Teresa of Child Jesus, we were here, hosted by the Office of Division Chief Raymond R. Virgino, with other agencies to discuss the transfer of this Katipunan Eternal.
Actually, this sculpture here represents represents the relationship between human and nature. So this is the rocks and columns of heroes by Nestor Olarte Benluan, steel, pebbles, and concrete, which was constructed in 1995-1996. This public outdoor sculpture is a synthesis of diverse ideas. The distilled form is largely abstract in appeal, consisting of 5 upright pillars on a bed of stones, sprawled on a 4-tiered circular concrete pedestal. There is an interaction in materials, both natural and industrial or man-made, to signify the symbiosis that exists between nature and man, to protect the sanctity of life. There is a dialogue between vertical and horizontal elements to symbolize both the soaring aspirations of man and the solid foundation they should come from. There is a confluence of Western and Eastern sensibilities where Roman columns of victory and Oriental mandalas of spiritualism are appropriated. There is an integration of painting and sculpture to emphasize the wholeness of art. The colorful structure is a simple celebration of life, a fitting offering to those brave souls who have gladly given their lives to enable the people to experience beauty and equanimity, event from the most banal in life. This was initiated by Secretary Ramon J.P. Pahe.
Thank you. Okay, thank you, dear Adona, the Division Chief of the Development Communication Division. Adona Princesa San Diego, for having read that the text of that very historic marker, sacred prophetic historic marker, composed by Nestor Olarte Binluan, who also did the UP Covenant Monument or Dambana ng Bayan. That is why our call right now is for everyone for everyone, every Filipino citizen, leader, and all the branches of the Philippine government, the executive, the Congress, the judiciary, to give life to this because it emphasizes and highlights the sacred prophetic moorings of our Filipino civilization. So now, may I present, our dear Dexter and Donita represented the Department of Environment and Natural Resources in our July 7, 2022 founding anniversary of Katipunan. And I had a script. I emailed it, and I emailed this to Secretary Benhar Avalos Jr. The essence of this is the script that we did on July 7, 2022 was inspired by his first press conference. And so the signatories on behalf of the DNR are Dexter and Donita. Now, I would like to formally, at least, present it to you before, later on, I will present it to the ILG, to be given to Secretary Benhar Avalos. Okay. As I sing this song, Pilipinas Dambana ng Bayan, I sang this in the Philippines and other countries of the world. Though they do not understand the words, they react to the lyrics and the music. This is the song of the Kapatiran Kaamaaman Kainainahan in the La Union, Rosario La Union, headed by Carmen Madlangbayan, Carmen Banig Madlangbayan. Her group takes care of the Pamatalaan Ritual Center and Dambana ng Bayan. They have there a globe, a grotto of the New World, a new world dedicated to the protection of Earth, the Mother Earth. So, please join us. Each step that DNR makes in the Environmental Heroes Park, we retrace all our pilgrimage steps in the Philippines and other countries of the world. Bayan ko, lupang tinubuan, perlas ka ng silangan. Ganda mo'y di mapapantayan, ilaw ka ng sanlibutan. Pilipinas, tulad mo ay gintong yaman, sampagita, dulot mo'y bango at kagandahan. Kwintas kang binunang kapat, dulot ka sa amin ng poong may kapal. O ina, kay gandang pagmasdan, mga anak mo'y nagkaisa't nagmamahalan. Anong tuwa't saya ng iyong kalooban, sapagkat narito na ang dambana ng bayan sa Department of Environment and Natural Resources. My 2002 Pilgrimage for Pilipinas Dambana ng Bayan, or according to Saint Teresa of the Child Jesus, the Philippines as the pilgrimage covenant country of saints and heroes. This morning ceremony, a ceremony that is providentially welcoming the new 2022 Sacred Prophetic Secretary of the Department of Environment and Natural Resources, no other than Secretary Tony Yulo Loizaga. And this day is also for me to personally thank the men and women in this beloved Department of Environment and Natural Resources who have been with me through the years, in this sacred prophetic mission to fulfill the hopes and aspirations documented in my 2000 book, launched in the United States, Mexico, and Europe. This book is entitled Rizal and the Katipunan Pilgrimage for Sacred Prophetic Politics in the Philippines for the World. I would like to acknowledge the leaders of this beloved Department of Environment and Natural Resources. First, the nominated Secretary of the Department of Environment and Natural Resources, Secretary Tony Yulo Loizaga. And then we have also Assistant Secretary Hiro B. Masuda, who is heading the Office of Human Resources, Strategic Communication, and Sectoral Initiatives. May I now call on, please, Adona Princesa San Diego, who is the head of the Development Communication Division. Above all, I would like to acknowledge indeed the Division Chief, Raymond R. Virgino, who is the head of the Sectoral Alliance and Strategic Alliance and Environmental Partnership Division. Ably represented, please come forward by these two Ds, Dexter Villa, Donita Cleo Paz. Okay?